I love Earthbound, and that is not remotely a minority opinion. Everyone who has played this game seems to adore it. There is no shortage of appreciation for the series and its creator, and I think all of this praise is absolutely deserved. But why? Every year I get the urge to come back to this game and fully immerse myself into its absurd world. Why? It's an interest that never seems to fade away, always keeping a backseat in my mind no matter where I am. Why? It's the one thing that finally inspired me to create art, and it's an incredible influence in so many people's works, but why, I hear you ask? I'll show you. Welcome to the world of Earthbound. It is so good to be back. I know that I've complained quite a bit about Earthbound Beginnings. This game, however, is going to bring a significant change of pace, as instead of endlessly complaining about random encounters, I am going to endlessly praise pretty much everything else. I don't have a lot of negative things to say about this game. So without further ado, let's grab our cracked bat and investigate this mysterious sound. This is Ness. He lives in Onett, he is 13 years old, and is constantly fascinated by the extraterrestrial. As none of his family members could stop him, he has decided to investigate this mysterious sound. However, our best friend here, Porky, seems to have the situation under control. Hey Ness, don't be rubbernecking. You can go home now. Tomorrow, I, Pokey, will tell you more about the strange meteorite. I'm fine here, but you're bugging the officers. So it seems that the situation is under control. Returning home, it seems that it is not necessary to talk about it tonight, and the game has ended. See, I have no criticisms. There's literally nothing that I could criticize. It's the perfect sequel. It would seem that everyone is annoyed at the sound coming from the door, and would you look at that, it's Porky himself making that lovely knock. Hey, listen to what I've got to say. When I took Picky to the place where the meteorite landed, oh, good evening, ma'am. You're looking lovely as usual. Anyway, the police that were guarding the meteorite landing left suddenly to deal with the sharks. Suddenly, I noticed that Piggy was gone. I blamed the cops. Certainly wasn't my fault at all. You're my bestest friend. Won't you help me find Piggy? And as we are his bestest friend, and it obviously was not his fault, we're going to help him. We now have a party of 3 and are able to almost exit the door, as there seems to be a phone call, seemingly from our father. Already you can see some similarities between Earthbound Beginnings and this game, as calling your father to save is something that is definitely exclusive to the Mother series, but one thing that is not similar to Earthbound Beginnings is on-screen enemies. And these enemies, some nifty little quirks to them. There's not too much that I'm going to abuse right now, but the way these enemies work will allow us to skip pretty much any battle we don't want to fight. That's something that I'm not going to do right now because, believe it or not, the early game is actually the hardest part of this game, and I'm going to need the experience. This does not yet call for a grind time. That time will surely come, but I assure you that these grinds will not be nearly as long as Earthbound Beginnings due to some more nifty little tricks and some fantastic game design that has yet to be replicated, and I feel absolutely should. Well, as we have reached the top of the hill, we have found Piggy. With our journey now complete, we are right next to the meteor and can investigate. However, there seems to be a buzzing that has Porky fairly concerned. I don't hear it. I think he's full of it. Okay, never mind. And out comes the bee in order to say one of the best video game lines ever written. A bee I am not. And with those words, Earthbound truly begins. I am from 10 years in the future, and in the future, all is devastation. Well, Gygus, the universal cosmic destroyer, sent all to the horror of eternal darkness. However, you must listen. Where I am from, there is a well-known legend that has been handed down from ancient times. It says when the chosen boy reaches the point, he will find the light. You see, it is my opinion that you are that boy. Gygus' monstrous plan must have been set in motion somewhere on Earth. If you start to confront the enemy immediately, you may have time to counter the evil intentions of Gygus. Well, it would look like we have about 10 years to save the planet. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough time. And with that expositional lore dump, BuzzBuzz now joins us. And with this party, we must now confront the first of the terrors from the Universal Cosmic Destroyer. It's been a long time, BuzzBuzz. You've been successful at foiling Master Gygus' plans. Let's go! But, BuzzBuzz, you now must surrender. And with that, Starman Jr. blocks the way. Now, despite Buzz being a not bee, we are doing roughly 0 to 4 damage on average. However, Buzz's attacks are currently doing 150. This dude is already by far the best party member that we have. And with those magnificent not bee powers, we can defeat Starman Jr. With that out of the way, we can now return Porky and Picky to his parents, and continuing the themes of wholesome friendship between Ness and Porky, it would seem that his father is also very fond of Ness's family, while Porky's family seems to be doing just fine. Buzz, however, is in a less desirable situation. Oh, I was much weaker than I thought. Oh, I just remembered. Listen to my final words. To defeat Gygus, your own power must unite with the Earth's. There are 8 points you must visit. Make these places your own. Each of these locations is your sanctuary. One of them is near Onett. It is called Giant Step. Do I understand? No, if they're my sanctuary, why do I have to make them mine? And with that adventure over, it seems that it's already dawn outside. With Ness obtaining the Soundstone, and Buzz giving his final breath, we can now explore all of Ness's hometown. Welcome to Onett, full of bright green nature and wonderful people, such as the photographer man. This man will take our pictures instantaneously 32 times throughout the game. Look at the camera. Ready, say, Fuzzy Pickles. I love this game, man. As we are getting into these battles, it seems that we are taking quite a bit of damage and I'm going to die to a crow. Thankfully, Ness has the ability to use Life Up Alpha, similar to Ninten. This proves a rather interesting concept present in the Mother series. Ninten and Ness are actually related. They're not super close on the family tree, as this game does take place quite a few years after the events of Earthbound Beginnings, but it is interesting to see how much of Ninten's family dynamic has been carried over. Speaking of family dynamics, this is perhaps one of the most dangerous families in the game. Despite not being related by blood, they are as close as a family. These are the Sharks. And I don't have any equipment, and I'm probably going to die unless he keeps missing. That would be awesome. Well, that's the first death of the game. Luckily, Ness has a bit of a squad of his own, and we can go up into these trees into a secret hideout to receive the Mr. Baseball Cap, which is the best defensive item in the early game, and is far better than anything you can get in a drugstore. With this new equipment, we should be able to take on at least one shark at a time. Talking to some of the sharks, it seems that their leader is Frank. As he is thinking about peace and love, and we want to bring peace and love to the world, it seems only natural that we should go and meet him, but I guess we won't be able to. After clearing out the arcade and buying the best equipment possible from the drugstore, it seems that it is finally time to confront Frank. And of course, being the cool guy he is, gotta dapper ourselves up a little bit too. I'm Frank. You are? Come on. Can't you at least say your name? I thought he had more dialogue than that. This is genuinely one of the hardest fights in the game. If I don't pay attention here, I will die. Okay, time for round 2. I think we can get him this time. I just have to be a lot more careful than I thought I did. So I guess get hit once and heal? Seems like a good plan. Alright, yeah. Just every single time I get hit, I just have to heal. That'll do. That'll work. Oh, maybe not. Nice. It's really good to get that fight over with so fast, because he has a second phase. This is Frankie Stein Mark II. He starts off with generating a burst of steam, which does absolutely nothing, and he will do that burst of steam every other turn. Basically what this means is that we can kinda cheese him and just defend every time he attacks, and attack every time he does nothing. This phase is much easier than the first one, except when I screw up like that, and he's probably gonna kill me. I have 1 HP left. I'm just that good. This is not okay. Just finish it. Finish it. Is that it? Oh my god. Back-to-back smashes. I'm just that good. What can I say? This is my first defeat. Failpoof Frank is now just failure Frank. I know you've been asking around, so I'll tell you about Giant Step. It seems to be quite a powerful spot. Some kind of special power stored there that allows certain people to perform wondrous feats. And with that, Frank is now an ally. Not in the sense that he's a party member, but he does provide free heals, stating that we have become much stronger and that our adventure is just beginning, which, yeah, it's definitely true. We have much more to do in this game, and even just much more to do in this episode, because we are now going to head to Giant Step. Unfortunately, Frank locked the entrance. Fortunately, Mayor Perkle has the key. By telling him we beat up the sharks and made them wet their pants, now I feel bad, we can receive the key to the shack as long as we promise to stay out of trouble, of course. Welcome to Giant Step. And with a real dungeon comes real enemies. Anything but the rat. There are also ants. But of course, should both of the enemies be in the same encounter, there is no way that I can defeat them. But of course, those two enemies simply are not enough, because they're slugs as well, which are actually a very nice addition to this dungeon. In addition to doing basically 0 damage, they go out in one hit and only attack in groups of at least 2, meaning I'm getting a lot of experience points for not that hard of an encounter, which is very, very good, because with that experience, we will be able to level up to level 8 and gain PSI Rockin'. Named after Ness's favorite thing, we will now be able to attack all enemies at once, dealing roughly 100 damage to each of them. This is absolutely necessary for the next boss fight. With that ability, we have now cleared the first part of this dungeon. Walking out into the outside, not only can we see the giant step that we have heard so much about, but we can also encounter a magic butterfly, assuming I can get off of that wall. These butterflies restore Ness's PP by 20, and they respawn, meaning that by exiting and re-entering, we can infinitely spawn magic butterflies and get maxed out right before the boss fight. This is the Titanic Ant. There are 2 Antoids in the back row, which will heal him should I attack. This is why the AoE attack is necessary, so that we can immediately take out those Antoids as soon as possible. With that out of the way, we simply have to hope for a crit, because this guy does a lot of damage, and I would like to finish it as soon as possible, much like that. Please do that forever, please. That's not the right move. I wanted to heal. I'm not going to have any PSI left. Please end it now. Just that good. We take the high rolls. Let's go. This is the luckiest run of Earthbound I've ever done. And with the Titanic Ant finally sunk, we can walk out to Giant Step and obtain the first melody of Earthbound. Much like Earthbound Beginnings, there are 8 melodies to collect in this game, and those 8 melodies will prove very useful later on. As for right now, however, it is time for the world's first not grind time, as a fantastic feature that has been implemented into this game. When you defeat the boss of a sanctuary location, all enemies run away from you, allowing to get green swirls on them, which basically means you get to take an extra turn at the beginning of the battle. And another fantastic feature is that should an enemy be absolutely hopeless during the fight, it'll just finish it for you, saving you tons and tons of time. With that in mind, I am now going to destroy everything in my path, because believe it or not, although we're still in the early game, we're not done with the tough fights quite yet. Well, despite Perkle's support, it seems that the police don't share the same praise. However, it seems that he trusts me enough to report to the police station, and as we are such a good kid as Mayor Perkle has proclaimed, I will indeed report to the police station to see what all the fuss is about. Well, it seems that I have to be punished one way or another. However, the policemen in this game seem to be about as focused as I was during the first Frank fight, so I probably won't need to use very much force in order to break out of jail. We have to fight 5 policemen. And these guys are brutal. That one guy just did 38 damage to me after all of that griming. Yikes. Oh, we outspeed. We're fine. We're fine. I wasn't worried. Look at this dude. He can't do anything to me. 13 damage? That's nothing. 30 damage? That's quite a bit more. In addition to letting you finish battles before your HP reaches 0, you can just straight up heal while you're already dead. This early game is brutal, oh my goodness, I'm going to die anyway. That was incredibly tough, and I'm running out of hamburgers, so hopefully I'll still be able to take this guy on. Never mind. Hopefully I'll be able to take this guy on. He does seem to be much more threatening than the rest of them, however, because he does have super ultra mambo tango foxtrot martial arts, which I am simply not powerful enough to replicate. However, we do have PSI Rockin', which should make pretty quick work of him. I was right. Captain Strong is defeated, and we have proved our strength to the police force. This will convince them that the road to Twoson does not need to be blocked, and we can finally make our way into the next town of this game. That was a very interesting run through on net. Probably the most fun early game I've had in a playthrough in this game. With that being said, however, this game only gets better. So if you like what you see here, then you'll probably like what's coming in the future. So make sure to subscribe for that. That's all I got for now. I'm going to rest up with Frank so I can defeat those ants. And in the next episode, we will head to Twoson, where the plot really gets going. That's all I got for y'all, and I will see ya in the next one.